If I pull that off, will you die?
It would be extremely painful.
You're a big guy.
For you.
I want to talk about all the Xbox shit that went down today. This craziness. Let's see here. Window cap. Bam. 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 Pretty sad stuff, and yeah, I think so too. Like, obviously, I play on my PlayStation more than I play Xbox games these days anymore, but honestly, I don't take the blame for that. That's because Microsoft isn't coming out with a bunch of fucking games for me to play. Although one I was excited about playing was Hi-Fi Rush. And thankfully they brought it to PlayStation, so I don't have to worry about playing it on Xbox. But I played Tango Gameworks. It was their first game, right? Evil Within, Paul?
I think so, yeah. That was when Shinji Mikami founded the studio.
Yeah, because
right?
that was the whole big thing. Is like, oh, from the creator of Resident Evil 4 comes Evil Within, and then we played Evil Within. So yeah, it's a real fucking bummer. Hi-Fi Rush is pretty damn fun. Yeah, I've heard great things about it. I love third-person hack-and-slash action games, and I like rhythm games. I don't think Paul's big on rhythm games, but hack-and-slash games, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to check it out and still will someday. I'm less, motivated because the money that I spend now will do nothing for the studio.
Yeah. I'm not worried about buying it right now. And I wanted to pick up a physical copy, but unfortunately, Limited Run Games got the rights to make physical copies of Hi-Fi Rush, and I don't like Limited Run games, so kind of a bummer. I don't know if I'll ever pick up a physical copy, maybe secondhand later on. I don't know. I don't want LRG to get my money though. But I've heard nothing but great things about it. What award did it win at the Game Awards? Was it Best Soundtrack or Best Audio? Do you remember?
Probably most played game on Xbox. Most popular game that nobody spent money on.
Man, and that's my problem with fucking Game Pass there, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Let me see. Game Awards, Hi-Fi Rush. I need Construct to be here to do my Google searching for me. Audio design. Okay, so it was audio.
I mean, it was a musical
oh shit!
game, right?
No way! Oh, okay. It was nominated for Best Action Game, Art Direction, Score, Soundtrack, and Audio Design. It won for Audio Design. I was like, it did not win 4 awards, but it also won Best Music at another event. Yeah, dude, it's got crazy animation and stuff like that. Yeah, Audio Design. You are correct. Yeah, so not fucking cool, man. By all accounts, a very talented studio that did the damn thing. They made a great game, and I still got punished, I guess? I don't know, it's really fucking weird. But in any case, we'll go ahead and read into it real fast. So we've got off of VGC, Xbox is shutting down Arcane Austin. Those are the guys that made Redfall. Tango Gameworks and 2 other Bethesda studios. Alpha Dog and Roundhouse Games will also be closing. It's a super fun game. Honestly, the only thing that was going good over there at Microsoft for a while. Yeah. Paul and I were talking about that. How it was very much a high point in a very fucking sparse period for Xbox, which honestly has been this whole generation. I'm totally not trying to be mean.
I would say that, yeah, I'm not going to say by any means that it's the best game, but I would say that it is the most beloved and most talked about and hyped up game they've had this generation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the most hyped. I would say the only game I can think of that was more hyped would be Halo, and that's Halo. And I'm sorry, if you have a shadow dropped, essentially third-party game that's getting as much hype as your big giant fucking AAA tent pole title, something's wrong there, So the fact that it was a shadow drop, there was tons of good PR for it, lots of great word of mouth. Everybody that was playing it liked it. I was seeing tons of games journalists, kind of funny, like all sorts of dudes all over the internet talking about the game and really enjoying it. So yeah, but then you get this news and it fucking sucks. So yeah. Arcane, Tango, Alpha Dog, and Roundhouse Games will all be closing down, with some staff joining other teams, according to a memo sent to staff. Staff were told the news over email by Xbox Game Studios head Matt Booty. A copy of the message was first reported by IGN. Now, this is what I don't get, dude. Booty told staff that the decision was based on a reprioritization of titles and resources. I love the word salad that happens when they fucking lay off people or, you know, close studios. And so, yeah, there's a reprioritization of titles and resources, quote unquote, and that some employees will be realigned to other teams, others laid off. Quote, today I'm sharing changes we are making to our Bethesda and ZeniMax teams, Booty's email reads. These changes are grounded in prioritizing high-impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds, which you have nurtured over many decades. To double down on these franchises and invest to build new ones requires us to look across the business to identify the opportunities that are best positioned for success. This reprioritization of titles and resources means a few teams will be realigned to others, and that some of our colleagues will be leaving us. Booty goes on to detail the changes affecting the 4 studios. Arcane Austin, the studio behind Redfall, will close, with some members of the team joining other studios to work on projects across Bethesda. Redfall's previous update will be its last as we end all development of the game, Booty said. I think they were supposed to come out with some DLC or something too.
Yeah, I'm sure it's further in what you're about to read. Yeah. But yeah, there is plans for some type of make good to happen for the people who have paid for content that will never be released.
Oh, okay. So yeah. And then he goes on to say that the game and servers will remain online for players to enjoy. Oh, goody. And we will provide make-good offers. Yeah, I know. We'll provide make-good offers to players who purchase the Hero DLC. Oh, okay, so maybe that's what it is. And then, more importantly, in my opinion, Japan-based Tango Gameworks, previously responsible for The Evil Within, Ghostwire Tokyo, and Hi-Fi Rush, will also close. With Booty adding that Hi-Fi Rush will continue to be available to players on the platforms it is today. Alpha Dog, the studio behind Mighty Doom, will be closing too, with Mighty Doom closing down August 7th. Will be turning off the ability for players to make any purchases in that game. Finally, Roundhouse Games, which itself was formed following the closure of Human Head Studios, will be closing down and the team will be joining ZeniMax Online Studios. Roundhouse has played a key role in many of our recent game launches and bringing them to ZOS to work on the Elder Scrolls Online will mean we can do even more to grow that world that millions of players call home. Do millions of players still play Elder Scrolls? I guess so. He said it.
I genuinely don't know, like, overall. Every time they announce, like, an update for it, I'm like, oh, that's still going.
That's still a thing. That's news to me. Sony isn't immune to this either, but Microsoft's on a whole different level. I mean, nobody's immune to closing studios, but Sony wasn't the ones going around making a bunch of giant fucking purchases. I mean, this whole giant acquisition was in the news for a while from Microsoft, and to purchase a studio I mean, at this point, I feel like they closed half of fucking Bethesda. Bert, hey, what's up, Construct? So, yeah, it's not a good look.
As of January 2024, Elder Scrolls Online has over 24 million players with an average of 13,700 per month, I guess, and a peak of 24,007.
Okay, so some people play Elder Scrolls Online. All right.
monthly? That's not
Yeah.
like a crazy amount, but I guess
No, it's really
more
not.
than
I mean, everybody was calling Helldivers 2 a dead game over the weekend, and there was still over 100,000 people playing. But I digress. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, over 24 million players with an average of like 13,700 at any given time.
Elder Scrolls Online still kind of big somehow. I never liked it. I mean, it's not my cup of tea either, but I mean, I'm not going to say it's a bad game or anything. I know people that play it. Okay, so as well as the presumed layoffs at Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, and Alpha Dog, Booty also told staff that a small number of roles across Bethesda publishing and corporate teams will also be eliminated. God damn, dude. These changes are not a reflection of creativity and skill of the talented individuals at these teams or the risks they took to try new things, he added. I acknowledge these changes are also disruptive to the various support teams across ZeniMax and Bethesda that bring our games to market. We're making these tough decisions to create capacity, to increase investment in other parts of our portfolio. No one wants to hear this bullshit, all right? Oh, we're profitable, but we want to be more profitable, so we were told from the higher-ups to get rid of people. Now, the one thing I will say is maybe some of this was planned ahead of time before they purchased Bethesda. Like, they wanted fucking Bethesda. I would say that maybe some of the other guys that were acquired by ZeniMax, they didn't really want lingering. You know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, you know, when they bought Bethesda, because Bethesda was for sale, somebody was going to buy them, and they decided it should be them. You don't get like, oh, well, we only want these 4 teams out of the 12 available. Like, no, you get all of Bethesda, and then you have to deal with all of Bethesda.
Look how long it's taken them to get Starfield in a place where it should have been at launch. There's too much red tape. I mean, that's just Bethesda, man. I'm used to Bethesda games. Remember when fucking Skyrim came out and dragons were flying backwards? I had a dragon fall out of the sky dead next to me. It was just it was full of bugs. That's Bethesda. Like,
that and just Microsoft giving everybody both too much and not enough time.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree with that. So, I mean, first off, Redfall, that's not a surprise. With Arcane Austin...
I don't... Just before, because the article's gone, so before we move totally past it...
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't like him calling out the risks that they took. Like, what was the risk they took with Redfall? Making it a fucking service game because you told them to? What was the risk they took with...
Hi-Fi Rush was a risk.
Allowing Microsoft to put it on Game Pass so nobody bought it?
No, I think that the risk there is that it was actually a somewhat creative game. How many action rhythm games are there out on the market today? So I agree with you that Redfall was like shitty fucking trend chasing, and you had a development team that didn't really specialize in multiplayer, making this multiplayer game trend chasing bullshit. So yeah, Redfall, I totally fucking agree with you. But I actually feel, and a lot of people talked about it like this, that Hi-Fi Rush was that like creative type game. Not only that, Microsoft's been wanting a foothold in Japan. This is your like one decent team that's like making games that might appeal to Japanese gamers, and like they're gone now.
Well, so on the one side, they shadow dropped it, right? They didn't feel the need to hype it up at all before launch. And if somebody were to buy it, I think it was a $30 game. So even that it's all still a different category than like the mistakes made with Redfall as a full price game.
Yeah. No, we'll get to that. Yeah.
But like you said, they're trying to get a foothold in Japan, and they just lost like the only Japanese company that they owned, on top of like just fucking throwing away a perfectly good mascot character. Like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. ZeniMax currently runs around 8 studios. They closed like 4 this past week, so that's a full third of the studios. Yeah, I feel like at this point, like half of fucking Bethesda closed. It's like Microsoft bought Bethesda for what? Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Doom?
Yeah, I mean, they bought Bethesda for like core Bethesda, and
everything else is just getting dumped?
Who's making Indiana Jones?
Diablo's not Bethesda Construct. That's Blizzard.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, but is it all together? Oh yeah, Activision, Blizzard, ZeniMax. I forgot. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Thank you. Also, Microsoft is stupid for shutting down Tango Gameworks. I agree. I think that a lot of people were looking forward to either Evil Within 3 or Hi-Fi Rush 2.
Machine Games is doing indie, right? Because Machine
I
is
think
part
you're
of
right.
Bethesda.
Yeah, Indiana Jones game is still happening. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, but like that's what you bought Bethesda for. Like the Bethesda
Yeah, I guess that makes
makes
sense,
the
yeah.
Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, and I guess Starfield, and then like Machine, and you don't care about anything else. That
Yeah,
came
I'm a
with it.
fucking idiot, by the way, Construct. For some reason, I always thought, like, in my brain, I was thinking Bethesda was a separate thing, Bethesda ZeniMax, but no, it was Activision Blizzard. Bethesda ZeniMax was all, like, fucking together. God, such a fucking mess. Yeah, it's so crazy. So, I just, man... And it's funny because, so, here's something else that I'm going to pull up here. As far as like the risks and stuff, I remember even in the interview with like Kind of Funny, Phil Spencer was talking about how like he wanted more creativity to take risks and all that. Like, no, you're not allowed to. you're gonna get fired. Your studio's gonna get shut down. So this is actually a while back with Lionhead Studios and Fable and all that. And they bring up, like, you know, long ago, there was a 6-part documentary where Microsoft had said its handling of Lionhead Studios, which was shut down in 2016, was a mistake that helped shape the way that Microsoft now works with its acquired developers, right? Developers that it buys. The 6th episode of Power On, the story of Xbox, features a short segment dedicated to Lionhead. One of the biggest missteps that we learned from in the past was Lionhead, said Shannon Loftus, who was general manager of Global Games Publishing when Lionhead was shuttered. We had already published Fable 1 and it was a hit. People wanted more. And so we bought Lionhead. Those were good years. And then you've got, but after Fable 2, Kinect came along, and the Fable Kinect marriage just never really took, she explained. And then Fable The Journey was a passion project for a lot of people, but I think it deviated pretty significantly from the pillars of what made Fable 1 and 2 popular. We acquired Lionhead in 2006, and we shut it down in 2016, said Sarah Bond, head of game creator experiences and ecosystem at Xbox. A couple of years later, we reflected back on the experience. What did we learn? And how do we not repeat our same mistakes?
Nothing, and we do it anyway.
So what did Microsoft learn? Quote unquote, Phil, this is Phil Spencer. You acquire a studio for what they're great at now, and your job is to help them accelerate how they do what they do. Not them accelerate what you do, said the head of Xbox. Like, man, it's like history fucking repeating itself. It's fucking crazy to me. You go and buy these companies. Like, why did you... I understand that some of them were part of ZeniMax and was all part of the deal. But, like, you could have just not bought all of them. And sure, somebody was going to buy them because Bethesda, ZeniMax, all that shit, it was for sale. So, like you said, like, you know, might as well get them. But that really fucking sucks, man. Fable 2 is the GOAT. It was, I don't know about the GOAT, but it was a fun game, Slim Jim. It appears Microsoft's just buying up the games rather than the studios, and their track record is starting to prove that theory. Well, the problem with Microsoft, and I've said this for a long time, and this isn't coming from a place of hate. I'm not a PlayStation fucking fanboy. I love all platforms equally. My problem is that Xbox, since the Xbox One, hasn't really done a good job of having first-party exclusives on their consoles. And instead of being creative and trying to put together development teams to make said exclusive games, they just went and threw their fucking wallet at developers to purchase them, to buy their games. And I just don't think that's the way. And I mean, how has that worked out for them so far? We got Redfall, which that speaks for itself, not great. And then we got Starfield, which I like Starfield. I think Starfield is a good game, but like, Would you consider it like a premier first-party exclusive that is the reason to go out and buy an Xbox, Paul?
It isn't the game that it should have been, and I think that like says enough.
I mean, yeah, they were touting it as game of a generation, for Christ's sake.
Hi, Slim Jim.
And again, I like Starfield. I think it's a fun game, but it's not game of a generation. Like, if you had to equate it to a first-party Sony game, Paul, like, what is it equal to? It's not God of War. It's not Spider-Man.
Starfield?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, somewhere... Like, obviously, they are completely different kind of game.
It doesn't have to be a type of game. I'm just saying, like,
sure,
the importance.
It is somewhere between Days Gone and Horizon as a franchise. I think either Horizon Gameworks.
I mean, I really like Days Gone. I might like Days Gone better than Horizon, but I will.
Well, then for you,
I will accept that Horizon is the more popular game, though. I understand that.
And even that, it's like a kind of popular game, whereas Days Gone like really isn't.
Yeah, I agree with that. They probably have 10 meetings a day talking about what to do rather than doing it. They need devs behind the wheel. I would agree with that. Some IPs Microsoft owns: Dishonored, Quake, Doom, Wolfenstein, Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads, Call of Duty, Crackdown, Crash Bandicoot, Diablo, Warcraft, Killer Instinct, MechWarrior. Fucking dude, MechWarrior! Please do something with MechWarrior. Come on! Minecraft, Perfect Dark, StarCraft, Tony Hawk series, Halo, Gears of War, Fable. Yeah.
I just like, and when they do hit gold, like, how do you let these games like? So there was Halo 3, and then you were talking about like Halo Journey, right? Which was like a Kinect game. Did that ever come out?
No, Fable. You're talking about Fable Journey.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it came out of his ass because it was a Kinect game. Who cares?
Cool. Yeah, I mean, even that Kinect, all of that was like early before they abandoned it. Xbox One. So like, how have we not had another Fable game in like 8 years or whatever?
Yeah,
how?
I know. Yeah,
I'm sure
Slim
it hasn't
Jim
been
bought
that long.
Fable Journey so you could cast the magic missile.
Excellent.
Your Kinect.
When was the last Gears game? I know it hasn't been that long, but it feels like it's been too long.
Well, there's rumors that they're going to announce Gears 6 sometime
yeah, great,
soon,
excellent, wonderful. But like, when was the last one? Like 5-6 years ago?
Was it the Kinect like required for the Xbox One? It was in the beginning. I don't know if it was later on. Construct.
Yeah, they pulled the plug on that almost immediately. Like
last Gears was
year.
Gears 5. I know it was a while ago. I don't think Gears 5 was this gen.
Yeah, no, nothing has been this gen.
Yeah,
which is like what
2019. Thank you, Construct. Yeah. Halo Infinite was a massive piece of junk, and anything other than the classic feel to it. I don't think it was a massive piece of junk, dude. I mean, go look at the review scores. It reviewed well. So I would actually say that it's the opposite. The game came out, it was super great, but people burned through the content very quickly. And when it launched, it was bad. I mean, go look at review scores for the game. So maybe you think that, but I remember everyone I knew that was playing it spoke highly of it. It's just that within a few weeks, they burned through the content and they were bored because we're just different animals now than we were when Halo last came out.
And like, I'm not
the world
super
has
in on
moved on.
Halo, but I remember, the first like week or two, people just gushing about it, loving, having a great time playing it. But then after those like week or two, they had played everything, and then everyone just whined until there was more content.
Yeah, when it was launched, it wasn't finished, but they released multiplayer. Yeah, I mean, co-op wasn't in there and stuff like that. I know that. Like, I know it was in an unfinished state, but everybody was like clamoring for Halo. So it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't. They released it unfinished. But I mean, realistically, Construct, how many games these year in this day and age get launched fucking unfinished anyways?
Well, they
It's not like
released
that was a
it
special thing.
unfinished after delaying it a year.
I know.
Right. So
I
like,
get it.
I mean, they could have delayed it.
No
an
Forge mode
additional
either.
year.
Yeah, but Forge mode wasn't promised at launch, so I mean, they never said that Forge mode was going to be available at launch. I mean, the fact that they added in there, I mean, I'll put it to you this way. Cyberpunk 2077 launched and it was a broken piece of shit. It was damn near unplayable on console. And all anyone does is suck that game's dick now. So if everyone's going to sit here and blow Cyberpunk, yeah, sure. If it took a while for Halo to add stuff into it, then why doesn't Halo get the same treatment? That's it. Fair is fair. I'm not going to be accused of being a fucking Microsoft or Halo hater. Like, what's good for Cyberpunk is good for Halo, is good for No Man's Sky. What matters is that you stick with the game, you keep improving it, and you make it better. Or you just give up on it like EA did with Anthem. You go down in infamy. But what I find interesting here is back to Hi-Fi Rush. So Hi-Fi Rush came out. It was a shadow drop. Everybody was super excited about it. I don't know what it has on Metacritic right now, but I would say it's probably in like the high 80s. I know it reviewed really well when it came out. And then I remember that supposedly Xbox, I remember seeing this article, and they were talking about how Xbox reportedly isn't happy with Hi-Fi Rush sales, which I found hilariously ironic. Go ahead.
It's an 87 on Xbox, an 88 on PS5, and a 90 on PC.
Okay, so I mean, high 80s to 90. I mean, that's great score. It also won, you know, a Game Award, you know, for last year. But I remember seeing this shit back. It was April of 2023, and they were saying how Xbox isn't happy with Hi-Fi Rush's sales. Now, before I even read any of the article, that is
was like a month and a
stupid
half after release, right?
Something like that. But it was on Game Pass. So why do you even have sales expectations of a game that you're giving out for quote-unquote free with the price of a subscription to Game Pass? Why do you even have a sales goal for a game you're giving people? I don't understand that. That's weird to me, but way back when, let's see, a few months ago, so I think it was like it was like sometime near the beginning of the year, Paul. Despite massive buzz, incredibly positive reviews, confirmation of over 2 million players that had played it, and a strong community already building around it, that apparently wasn't enough, as Xbox seemingly isn't impressed with Hi-Fi Rush's sales. So this was reported by Jeffy Grub, who spoke about the matter on a recent episode of his podcast, Game S Decides. At one point, co-host Mike Minotti mentions Hi-Fi Rush being a big win for Xbox and wonders why it hasn't made a big deal, to which Grub replies that he heard it simply didn't sell enough. What's that?
And so just like, you shadow drop it on your service where, like you said, you can play it for free as long as you're subscribed to the service.
2023. Okay, so it dropped at the beginning of the year. The fact that that game dropped at the beginning of the year, Construct, and was remembered long enough for them to give a Game Award to that says something right there.
Yeah. But like so you're gonna shadow drop this game. That, like, sure, there's a trailer or whatever, but like no hype, no build up, just boom, here it is.
They just drop it, no marketing.
You expect anybody to pay $30 for it when they could just play it for free with Game Pass that they presumably are already paying for if they have an Xbox, because everyone who has an Xbox has Game Pass.
And that was part of the reason it was cool as a shadow drop, because it was just a big feather in the cap of Game Pass. Like, hey, this is why you have Game Pass day and date, homie. The best value in video games. Right? I mean, that's what everybody always fucking says. But I've talked about this before, where I want Xbox to succeed, and I feel bad for developers just get handed like X amount of dollars to give their game over to Game Pass. I don't think that Game Pass is sustainable. And this all happening today kind of fucking proves that. You had all the hype, word of mouth, great review scores, fucking good community. Everybody liked this game. They're talking about it. It went all year long being talked about online. Got a Game Award at, the Game Awards. Won several other awards from other game ceremonies. And it wasn't good enough. A year and a half later, that's your not even like layoffs to save money. Your studio is just shut down. Who the fuck has job security in the games industry? But like specifically for Microsoft right now, you did everything you were supposed to do correctly, but your game didn't sell enough. And this is after the recent the recent fucking release on PlayStation, where Hi-Fi Rush has been like in the top 25 selling games on PlayStation. And you just said it scored what, an 88 or an 89 on PlayStation as well?
Yeah, average reviews are 1 point better on PlayStation than Xbox for no reason.
There you go. I mean, so this studio should be flying high, man. They have like all the goodwill in the world, and then you get told that your studio's being shut down. Fucking sucks, man. It won 5 awards across 7 awards shows, 4 of which were this year. Oh, thank you, Construct.
If you're gonna release this game, right, and just any game, honestly, it doesn't even fucking matter. Just any game you are going to release, who is it going to sell to? It's going to sell to the people that just don't actively use Game Pass, right? But even for those people that aren't like subscribed month over month, any game, like this was a $30 game, right? Not the most expensive, but whatever. Any game, like really, like anything that they're going to throw on Game Pass anyway, would probably cost minimum $15, probably 20 plus. So, like, again, why expect any sales when, even if I don't use gas every month, I could just pay for a month of Game Pass and play a game for a month.
Yeah.
That's
the thing to me.
Even fucking Starfield, like, I could get my fill of that in a month. I only got to pay $15 for that.
That's what I did. I signed up for Game Pass for 2 months. I played Starfield a bunch, and then I was like, I'll just buy it later. Yeah, let's close down the studio that's actually making cool, interesting shit and consolidate staff into the company that hasn't started working on a title they announced over 10 years ago. Exactly, Dishes. It's frustrating, man. And I'm not trying to just fucking bag on Microsoft, because it's fun to do it. It's just, man, it's a shitty decision. This will only incentivize devs to get out or steer clear of Microsoft-owned IP. Yeah, I would agree with that, too. Or to avoid, having games put on Game Pass. Paul and I have kind of talked about that before, where I feel it's better to bet on yourself. Like, I know that Helldivers is only on PC and PlayStation, but let's say Microsoft negotiates a deal with Arrowhead for some unholy reason. Halo's coming to PlayStation, so PlayStation's like, fine, you can have Helldivers, right? And now we're in negotiations between Arrowhead and Microsoft is going to offer X amount of dollars to Arrowhead because they want to have rights to put it on Game Pass. I would tell them to go fuck themselves, because I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that Arrowhead is going to make more money if they just sell copies of their game on Xbox instead of putting on a Game Pass.
The amount of extra money the Palworld devs would have gotten by making Xbox players pay for that game instead of just having it on Game Pass.
Oh my god, the Halo Microsoft fanboys would set the entire fucking world on fire if Microsoft announced a PlayStation port of Halo. Captain Construct. Just wait.
Get your matches.
Remember this. Remember this moment. I'm telling you, Halo's coming to PlayStation, baby. Halo's coming to PlayStation. Starfield's coming to PlayStation. You watch. Remember this day. I'm telling you. So anyways.
So how long
I'm writing this date down. That's right. May 7th, 2024. I'm not going to say when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen.
How long after Hellblade 2 releases does Ninja Theory get closed?
A year later.
A full year?
Yeah.
I think the PlayStation port happens before the end of this year, and I think they get closed early next year.
I don't know. We'll see. Their goal is to get their game store on everything that can play games. It's clear at this point. Yeah, and I don't think it's a good plan, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. If a big player like Microsoft is involved, that's a pretty positive sign. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So anyways, that's what they originally reported, that the sales numbers for Hi-Fi Rush were not great. But then there was like an edit to it, and there it is, Aaron Greenberg right there. So right here, what exactly determines success for an Xbox game these days? Hi-Fi Rush, as far as I know, has no physical version, no marketing, no multiplayer. If Xbox is pressuring ZeniMax to deliver sales of its games, maybe it shouldn't put so much emphasis on Xbox Game Pass. What's the goal here? And that's exactly our point right there. Like, if you're going to pressure someone for sales numbers, why are you putting it on Game Pass? That's totally unfair. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're setting them up for failure. Yeah. And then Aaron Greenberg, go ahead.
No physical edition, so like there's nothing for collectors to even invest in, right? There is nothing to buy.
It's true, but I mean, Microsoft, there's, you know what the numbers are for Microsoft, that almost nobody buys physical games or anyways. But anyway, so Aaron Greenberg from Xbox says, Hi-Fi Rush was a breakout hit for us and our players in all key measurements and expectations. So, it was a breakout hit in all measurements and expectations. This is being said by fucking people at Xbox. We couldn't be happier with what the team at Tango Gameworks delivered with this surprise release. We're so happy, and these guys they fucking hit all expectations and key measurements.
He said that a year ago. That was a lie.
That's my point, man. You're full of shit. Like, and you're right there. I mean, Hi-Fi Rush was a major success, according to Xbox. A major success. Right? Like, man, that's crazy. A major success, and the studio's getting fucking shut down. I can't fucking believe that shit. That's crazy to me.
It's like Microsoft leaning into saying quotes that will get turned into articles to further persuade people to, like, oh, well, yeah, Microsoft is saying this game is doing great, and I keep hearing, reviewers and media talk about it. Maybe I will go buy it. It's like they are just saying things to try and make more people buy the game.
Maybe. I don't know. But in any case, I think Microsoft is full of shit. Tango Gameworks should not have been fucking shut down. They made arguably, one of the most hyped, not even arguably, it was one of the most hyped fucking releases on their platform of the last year, or a little over a year. And they don't fucking deserve this. Clearly, they're talented devs that did a good job. They did what they were supposed to do, and this is their fucking reward. All because they need to worry about high impact games. What the fuck does that even mean, dude? That you've got to have this reprioritization.
So jumping back to chat real quick, I know you already said or read this, but their goal is getting their game store and everything that can play games. It's not their game store because Microsoft doesn't fucking care about selling anything. They just want Game Pass on everything that can play games.
I mean, they've been called for years now the Netflix of gaming. And that's their goal. And again, just like I said, Microsoft games are coming to PlayStation later on. Look at me right here. There will be a day where either Microsoft goes full third party, right? If they don't, if they stay in the game and they stay, Microsoft, if Xbox is going to stay its own thing, there will be a day where you will not even be able to purchase digital games through Xbox. You will only be able to play Xbox games through Game Pass. That's it. They're going to go full fucking Netflix, and that's how you play your games. You will own nothing, and you will be happy. And fucking trust me, dude. It might take until like 2030 or the next Xbox or whatever, but that is what their fucking end game is. I truly believe that.
So current gen, and then next gen, and then the gen after that, they won't have a console. They will just be an app for anything.
Yeah,
And
I think that's what's going to happen.
You subscribe to the service and you play the games, and maybe after certain games have been out a year or longer, they'll come out on like whatever Sony or Nintendo have at that time.
Yeah.
And be third party in that degree, but they'll stay first party. They'll just stop making consoles.
I'm going to go ahead and retract my previous statements. There was a time where I would have eaten my own shoes if you told me that Sonic would be on a Nintendo system. Same here, Construct. Not only that, I would have eaten my fucking Dreamcast before I would have thought that Sega would have gotten out of the hardware business. I would have never thought it possible that one out of the two juggernauts of the 16-bit era would actually get out of the console business and just go strictly third party. That blew my fucking mind, man. That's crazy. So I just don't see what Xbox is doing as being sustainable. I don't think that Game Pass can make them enough money.
The other, what was the quote? The high impact games, blah blah blah.
Yeah, that they're that he was saying it's prioritizing high impact titles and further investing in Bethesda's portfolio of blockbuster games and beloved worlds. So yeah, that reprioritization is just, I feel like it's just Fallout and Elder Scrolls.
So I heard like kind of not a conspiracy, but just like an off the wall thought, and then kind of expounding on it myself because it made sense. Like I don't think they're like leaning into service games the way like Sony is or was trying to, but like Game Pass is the service, so they just want games that's not even a conspiracy theory. Right.
Yeah, but that's the ecosystem.
They want to focus on games that will keep you tied to Game Pass for a period of time. Whether that's Call of Duty that you're going to be playing all year, whether it's something like Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Starfield that you're going to be playing ideally at least a few months. Or actual fucking service game, a live service battle royale, Halo, whatever, right? They are interested now in these big games that you will keep coming back to so that they can just keep you subscribed to Game Pass.
Yeah, I mean, there's that, and I'm not a fan of the fact that it really chaps my ass that they had nothing but great things to say about Hi-Fi Rush, and then you go and shutter the studio a little over a year later. And everybody seems to kiss Phil Spencer's ass. I'm not one of them. I think the guy, I don't have anything against the dude. I don't know him. He seems cool enough. He plays video games, but I don't think that the decisions he's making are good ones right now at Xbox. I don't think that he's helping the business. And they're fucking liars.
It feels fucking dirty to have them drop this game, talk all this praise about it, have them port it to PlayStation, and then immediately close them afterwards so that you can just get whatever money from whatever sales from that PlayStation version, and the team's gone.
Well, and I firmly believe that the success of the games that they brought over, it was Hi-Fi Rush, what was the other one?
Pentiment, Sea of Thieves, and Grounded.
Yeah, Grounded was the one I couldn't remember, and of course Sea of Thieves. And all of those games have sold pretty damn well on PlayStation right now. So one of two things was going to happen. Those games come out, they don't sell very well, and then Microsoft is like, well, maybe those games didn't resonate with the PlayStation crowd, so we're going to try it again, and they would bring other games over. Or those games sell pretty well, and they're going to bring more. It doesn't make sense. If you brought games over and they sold well on another platform, you're not going to bring more games over to make more money? That doesn't make sense. Not if you want to be as profitable as you can be, which obviously with actions like today, that's the thing, and that's why I say Halo is coming, Construct. Especially when you have games that focus on multiplayer, like keeping the games alive and healthy.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even need to do, like,
it looks to me like a foot in the door. Maybe.
you can just do like strictly the multiplayer for Infinite becomes available.
Yeah, whatever. I just
And,
think
like,
the game's coming eventually. So, and there's a reason why anyone I know with an Xbox is just holding out hope that like Helldivers comes to Xbox. It makes no sense for PlayStation to bring their games to another platform. They're in first place. They're the boss. Just like Xbox, when it was dominating with the Xbox 360, there were discussions about crossplay even back in the days of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. And Xbox was like, hell no. And Xbox had exclusivity with Call of Duty getting their maps first and stuff like that. Whoever is the prettiest girl at the fucking dance gets to make the rules. That's how it is. And that's why Sony ain't bringing Helldivers over to fucking Xbox. They've got their fucking boot on their neck right now. They're outselling their consoles 2-1. Xbox console sales are down like a motherfucker. I think their last quarterly numbers that came out was like 800,000 units. I don't think that the Dreamcast's fucking numbers when they stopped making the Dreamcast were that low for fucking systems sold in I think it was a quarter. That's awful. Like Xbox's fucking numbers are down on consoles big time. And that's not a good sign.
The whole thing that killed the Dreamcast was that you could just
you could burn it, but like also the Dreamcast was getting his ass beat by PS2.
But the system was the best-selling part of the Dreamcast. System sold better than games.
But still, like when it was going to die, their numbers for sales were I mean they were higher as far as I remember. I'd have to double check that. I remember the 360 era stuff. Nobody needs an Xbox to play the games anymore. You can play them on PC. Exactly. Which for some people is fucking awesome, man. And Xbox is of this weird belief that you don't need a console, that they're not interested in selling you consoles. They don't care about a box. Well, that much is evident in their fucking sales numbers. And so that's what we'll get to the second part of this discussion is like, what the fuck is Xbox's identity? Their whole identity this generation was just getting everyone into the ecosystem of Game Pass. I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't think Game Pass is sustainable, and clearly it is not a good thing for developers. Look at Tango Gameworks. They came out, they were a resounding success. There were like 4 million people playing their game. It reviewed well, it was talked about well, and a year and a half later, the fucking studio is shut down. So who wants to put their games on Game Pass, and how is Game Pass sustainable? I just don't think it is. Like, even if you have a bunch of good third-party games on there, you're still not coming out with great exclusive first-party titles. Microsoft clearly just wanted to one-up Sony and making bad decisions. I mean, it seems that way, Parka. I talked about it, a few times and said how everyone was going to forget about the Helldivers drama from this weekend, and boy, did they do that real fast. Potentially doing something that people don't like in a game and pissing people off, but not even actually doing anything yet, right? It's all hypothetical. Pissing people off, that's one thing. But, like, actually firing people, actually shutting down studios, that's like real life shit, right?
Sony made a bunch of people really mad. We're going to make a lot of people really sad.
Yeah, they're literally ruining people's lives, man. You're mad because you got to sign in to PlayStation Network on your Helldivers account. Nah, I can't believe I got to make this account for this game. You think that has any comparison to some dude that works at Tango Gameworks who comes home and he has to tell his wife that they got to, like, figure out how to get some new insurance package through her job and talk about how much severance he's getting and, how many meals they're going to be able to make it till he finds a new job? Oh, god damn. That's tough, dude. Like, I'm definitely not making light of it. I'm smiling and stuff like that, but like, fuck, dude, that sucks. That really fucking sucks. And I feel bad for everybody. Like, I've been laid off before, dude. It is not cool. That's why I laugh at all the bullshit, like corporations, you know, the sentiment. They're like, we're a family. No, you're fucking not, dude. You're just a cog in the machine. Take your sick days. Take your vacation. Don't ever fucking put your job before like anything else in your life, man, unless you work for yourself, right? Like, goddamn, it sucks.
So I'm looking, it looks like Tango Gameworks is around, well, okay. As of 2012, it was 65 employees. I'm sure there are more 10 years later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
But probably like 100 to 150. But like,
that sounds
still,
reasonable. I mean, it'd be pretty easy to find out how many people worked on Hi-Fi Rush.
Mm-hmm.
You just go on IMDb.
You know, 100 to 150 people that now don't have jobs are now competing, you know, each one of them competing with
in an industry that's had thousands upon thousands of layoffs. Yeah, dude.
But in searching for that info, I also saw a post on the Xbox Series X subreddit a year ago. Tango Gameworks is hiring more devs.
That sucks, dude. Also, straight up, causing the destruction of the only studio that even kept the Xbox vibes alive until they could close their deal with Activision Blizzard. Yeah, man. It's a bummer. It's a bummer. Because like now, every good conversation that I heard about Hi-Fi Rush, every good podcast where I heard them gushing about the game and stuff like that, it's all tainted now. Like, it's just gone. They're just gone. You know? Couple that with bullshit news like the shit we just heard, Paul, about how Vicarious Visions went to Activision to pitch Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 HD, and they get shot down and just, keep working on Call of Duty. Keep helping with Call of Duty.
Well, and Nintendo wanted fucking Vicarious Visions to make a Donkey Kong game, and Activision was like, nah, don't do that.
Nah, it's cool. Just keep helping out with Call of Duty. I understand that Call of Duty is one of the best-selling games every year. 41 people worked on Hi-Fi Rush. Wow, that's even more impressive, Construct. Thank you. Now, not counting the voiceover cast, which I've seen clips of the game. The voiceover work in it seems really good too. The animations as well. Animations fucking top notch. So, like, I'm very excited to play the game at some point. It's just making time in the schedule to stream it is, you know, tough. Too many games, man. But yeah, I mean, I don't understand what the identity of Activision is other than Call of Duty. What the fuck does Activision make besides Call of Duty? Like, I understand the Blizzard side of it. They've got Diablo, they got World of Warcraft, stuff like that. But Activision used to make a bunch of fucking games. Activision used to make Spider-Man. They used to make fucking Tony Hawk. They made good shit. They made Castle Wolfenstein, right? Didn't they? Maybe? Or was that Bethesda? I don't know. Honestly, they should take the 41 people and promote them, not close studio. Honestly, if they were smart, I hope they did lay them all off. And then if I was Sony, because I mean, it's a Japanese company anyways, pick up Tango Gameworks and you call them like Salsa Game Visions, Merengue Software. Have them make a lo-fi race, whatever. Have them make another game like that. Can you
imagine somebody, like anybody, honestly, not even like specifically Sony, but somebody just scooping up like that whole team?
Yeah, I don't understand why you wouldn't. I mean, because before Hi-Fi Rush, obviously that's the new hotness, but they did Evil Within. So survival horror, like horror games in general, are a pretty hot commodity these days. When you look at the Resident Evil games, the hype with the new Silent Hill coming out, you know, scary games are in. So, you know, I hope somebody scoops them up. You hear about a lot of layoffs in the game industry, but I really truly hope that all of those guys land on their feet somewhere. So, like, yeah, at this point, getting back to the whole vision of Xbox, like what is their identity, Paul? What's the message from Xbox? Because before it was Game Pass, play your games anywhere, ecosystem. Now what is it? Because I just don't see people having a lot of faith or a lot of trust in Microsoft and their vision. Pretty sure Wolfenstein was published by Activision. Yeah, I'm going like way back Wolfenstein on like 360.
Oh, okay.
So like, yeah, who is Xbox now?
I mean, it's still Game Pass for now, but they are the guys who, I said it at the beginning of this, they both give too much and not enough time all at the same time to all of their developers. It seems like all of the big games, or at least the current generation entries in all of their big franchises, we've been waiting 5, 6, 7, 8 years for, and none of them seem any clear. Like, I do not believe that a new Fable game, which has been teased and promoted at least 3 different times so far, I don't think we'll get that before holiday next year. We're just...
Yeah.
And then when we do finally get it, is it going to be great? Is it going to be okay?
I mean, if it comes out and it's another Starfield where there's a lukewarm reception, I mean, they're in real trouble.
Or a Halo where like everybody loves it for a week and then they're like, hey, actually, this isn't everything it was cracked up to be, and it takes them 2 years to win the fans back.
Or, Perfect Dark comes out. The one on 64, fantastic. The one on Xbox 360, Perfect Dark Zero, not so great. They come out with a new Perfect Dark. I'll be excited for it, but I can't see it being an absolute banger. If it comes out and it's just okay, I just don't know what they're doing. Their message is that we buy games to close studios after we buy them. I'm convinced there won't be a Fable game until next gen, if ever at this point. Honestly, I can't say that I disagree with you. It might end up being a whole fucking Beyond Good and Evil 2 thing.
Because I mean, nothing we've seen has been like anything more than cinematic trailers. Remember, none of it even looked like gameplay ever.
So remember the whole State of the Union thing they did, where they had Sarah Bond, Matt Booty, and like Phil Spencer all like talking about how they were bringing games to other platforms, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that whole thing was supposed to like alleviate people's fears. Like, remember when all of those rumors were swirling about how Xbox games were coming to PlayStation and or Switch, and everyone was losing their mind? They were trading them in their Xbox for a PS5. There were videos of people smashing their Xbox. There are all these people out there whose identities and their personalities are just wrapped up in Xbox that were losing their mind, right? Remember that?
Bunch of goofballs.
I know. But I firmly believe
they were right.
Kinda. Yeah. I mean, I firmly believe that it was not as dramatic as it needed to be. It wasn't that big of a deal. They said a lot of nothing during that whole interview thing, showcase, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But that, coupled with this, I understand where people are coming from, where they don't even have faith that Xbox is going to be around. I don't understand how you're doubling down on play your games anywhere, but we don't care about if you buy a console or not. But also we're committed to making first-party exclusive stuff. It's so...
Play your games on any device you want to that has access to Game Pass, but also buy the games, because if you only play on Game Pass, we will close the studio.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what can Microsoft... Because Microsoft has an event coming up in June. They've got this showcase thing coming up in June. Like, what are they going to say in defense of this? Well, it was a great game, and it met all of our key metrics and expectations, but, we need to reprioritize.
We decided to go back in time and unrelease it.
Yeah, we gotta reprioritize on high impact titles. What the fuck at that time was more high impact than Hi-Fi Rush? Like, I would argue that was a high impact title. So are you just going to do nothing but lean into the biggest of the AAA games? What happens when Indiana Jones comes out if it fucking bombs?
We'll see.
That studio's closed.
Yeah, no, I don't hope. Well, maybe, because that's the fucking Wolfenstein studio, right? So
I mean, it does. That's all it takes.
I am not making wishes at all right now. Like, I hope. No, I am. And my wishes are that studio comes out unscathed. But I don't think Indiana Jones is going to be great. I do not think it's going to do well.
Even if it's a good game, dude, who fucking cares about Indiana Jones right now? Look at the last movie.
Yeah,
the last movie flopped hard.
All of that on top of, I don't even think it's going to be a decent game. I think it will be a decent game. I don't think it's going to be anything to write home about. I think any of the recent Wolfensteins are going to be a better experience. But the information that I could pull up was that within the first month, so over a year ago, over 300,000 copies of Hi-Fi Rush sold on Steam.
Okay.
So within the first month, they made nearly $10 million just from Steam sales.
Wait, what?
And
10 million from 300,000?
It's a $30 game.
Wouldn't that be $1 million?
No, 300,000 times 30.
Use a calculator.
I am. It's 9 million.
Is
Can you see it?
Oh, okay, maybe I can't math. Whatever, that's fine. I know games, not math.
Yeah, 3 times 3 is 9, and then you just add the 0 from the 30. Whoop. But point is, like, that game definitely made money, even if you're only looking at Steam sales. That was the first month, and it was out, a year and a half by this point. I'd love to get updated numbers, but I'm not good at finding them.
Yeah, no, it's impossible to find game sales numbers sometimes for shit, unless somebody really wants to tout it,
Mm-hmm.
You said 300,000 copies?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah, 9 million. Never mind, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
That was one less zero. Yeah, you're right. All right, that didn't sound right to me. But yeah, you're right. Indiana Jones is a fun idea, but they're taking away really cool action possibilities by making it first person. Yeah, I agree. I don't understand how you don't come out with an Indiana Jones game and just rip off Uncharted. Like, it's right there! It's right there! Literally, we haven't had an Uncharted game in years now. People want Naughty Dog to make an Uncharted game. I know everybody's all got a hard-on for The Last of Us 3, but, like, I firmly believe in my heart of hearts that more people want an Uncharted game. Even if Last of Us is new hotness right now and they want you to scan Pedro Pascal in for the next one just as a corpse to drag around with you Weekend at Bernie style, whatever. I firmly believe that, like, people are thirsty for a fucking Uncharted game right now, and this is the perfect moment at Xbox to come out with their Saints Row when there's no Grand Theft Auto out. If you understand that fucking comparison. Yeah, dude. Nope. Swiss Army man stuff. Seriously, this is like the perfect time to come out with an Indiana Jones, like, just totally made. It doesn't even have to be original. People don't like original. They like fucking sequels and knockoffs and all that shit. It's been proven time and time again. And yes, once in a while, you get a game that's an original idea and it does well. But for the most part, people in entertainment like sequels and fucking knockoffs. That's it. It doesn't need to be completely original.
The fact that they aren't just doing an Uncharted ripoff and they did go like first person, I just like why didn't they just do Wolfenstein 3? Because people want that. People are excited for that.
Exactly.
And just
why not do both of those things?
First person adventure game where you probably punch and shoot a bunch of Nazis, like might as well have just fucking done Wolfenstein 3.
Yeah, you make both. You make first-person Wolfenstein game, you make third-person Uncharted knockoff Indiana Jones game. Boom! Problem solved. And you have two games that are exclusives!
Be upfront about it. Like, they are trying to capitalize on what Sony is knocking out of the park and what Microsoft or Xbox doesn't really have any of, those single-player story-driven adventure games.
Dude, it's the same thing with Fable, Paul. Come out with Fable.
Not doing it.
Come out with Fable. It's a create a character. You can choose whether to be bad or good based on decisions you make in the game, and go a little more in depth with it. Don't let me kill a whole village and then go eat vegetables and be able to maintain my good guy status. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like, that's Fable bullshit, baby. Like, they should make a Fable game where you get to create your own character and you've got choices in the story that, you know, choose your own adventure type stuff. But gameplay wise, just rip off Tears of the Kingdom. That's it. Exploration. You get a fucking glider. You go around the map. Genshin Impact did it. All it is Zelda with sexy anime waifus.
So it's better.
In some cases, yeah. The combat's definitely better. But seriously, like, that's all. Like, Fable was kind of like Xbox's answer to Zelda back in the day anyways. I don't understand how people that make way more fucking money than me working at Microsoft just can't. Why isn't someone at Microsoft actually a fucking gamer who could just tell these people these things?
I know that Fable and Elder Scrolls are not the same game. They are not the same franchise, but they are similar. If you're going to play one, it's likely that you'd be interested in the other. They bought Bethesda instead of just doing a new Fable game.
I don't know, man. It's like what was said earlier. Fable probably won't even be out this generation. We'll see. It just, yeah, it looks like Wolfenstein skinned as Indiana Jones. Yeah, and at that point, just make a Wolfenstein game. And then make a different game that's Indiana Jones. Too much red tape, too many meetings, not enough actual devs doing the job or planning. I guess. So there's
that and they're... Yeah, I mean, fuck the red tape, but, like, they're also not... Yeah, and fuck micromanagement and general management in terms of overseeing the creation of art, which, you know, video games are, but also, like,
yeah,
pay attention, because they are giving these teams so much time, and, like, we're still not getting anything.
Dude,
and I'm not saying, like, drop the hammer. You know, eventually we will talk about, I do not support the God damn it, what's the term? The grind? The thing that you want to talk about.
Crunch.
Yep. Don't like that, but be on top of things and get games to release, because they're not doing it.
Yeah. Agreed. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't really know where Microsoft goes from here. I believe that a lot of people don't have faith in them, and I don't blame them. I'm not looking to run out and buy a fucking Xbox now at this point. Hello, what's up, Kayla? Also, what's up, Black Magic? How you doing? I don't know if you kept up with all this Microsoft news, this Xbox news that came out today, Black Magic, but that's what we were talking about. Everyone that is making decisions about the game should be on site working in the same building. I mean, or at least just making sure that it's going. Know what happened?
I mean, yeah.
So
okay, time out really quick, just before that happens. I mean, yeah, it'd be great for everybody to be on site working in the same building, but like up until today, Microsoft had worldwide studios, right? Like you had a Japan studio. So like you can't do that, but you need to be touching base more often, and like you as management need to have milestones that they need to be hitting, and they as the developers need to be hitting those milestones, and like you guys got to check back and forth with your little lists on a regular basis, and it just doesn't feel like that's happening at all anywhere in Microsoft.
Just dropped them. So I don't think you've played it at this point, Black Magic, but I'm sure you, Kayla, anyone else who's in chat who wasn't here earlier has heard of and or seen that game Hi-Fi Rush. That was a big hit for Xbox in 2023. It was nominated for multiple awards last year. It was a really cool rhythm-based like hack and slash action game. It was just shadow dropped, and honestly, it was a very bright spot on a dark release schedule for Microsoft. There was like not a lot coming out to be excited about, and I'm not bashing Microsoft right now. It just, the sky is blue, my head is bald, and Microsoft wasn't coming out with any fucking first party games, dude. It is what it is. Microsoft made Bethesda like lay off a bunch of people today. So one of those that were affected is the studio behind Hi-Fi Rush, Tango Gameworks. Critically acclaimed, very successful game, was talked about by Xbox as meeting and exceeding all key expectations they had for the game, and that's not good enough. They didn't just lay off people there, they shuttered the whole fucking studio. Just fucking shut them down. And then the guys behind Redfall at Arcane Austin that works for Bethesda, they got rid of them as well. That I understand, because Redfall, that was supposed to be one of the tentpole games for Xbox, and it failed miserably. Everybody fucking hated it. It was dead on arrival. That I understand. But you have two extremes of the spectrum there. You have a game that came out, met zero expectations, was a massive failure, was dead on arrival, was a fucking joke of a release. Ooh, day one on Game Pass. This adds value to my library of games on Game Pass. No, it doesn't. It was fucking trash. And that's a joke. And I'm not trying to be mean to the developers. Maybe they didn't have enough time. Maybe they had too much time, whatever. Either way, the game came out. It sucked, dude. It is what it is. But then you have the opposite side of that coin where Hi-Fi Rush comes out. Everyone loves it. Good word of mouth. Excellent fucking review scores across the board. It does really well. 4 million players fucking play it. And a year and a half later, gone. How is that fair, man? That adds value to the investment. Yes, the investment of having access to games digitally. That's a callback. If Arcane's going away, what happens with Marvel's Blade? That's the other Arcane. Yeah, this is Arcane Austin did Redfall, and they were also responsible for the game Prey, which I know a lot of people liked. But you're thinking of Arcane
Lyon, right?
Yes, Lyon, which we just watched. Backlash France Lyon. Yeah. They are the ones that are behind Blade. They are the ones that did Deathloop, Dishonored, all the games that everybody likes. That makes sense. Yeah. So who's to say that some of the people from Redfall aren't absorbed into Arcane Lyon? There's a very good chance of that and stuff like that, but I don't think there's any chance of anybody being kept on from Tango Gameworks. It's a Japanese company. They're just going to shut them down, and that's it. And they're a talented fucking company, or a talented development.
Yeah, I know we already talked about this, but I talked about them getting scooped up and them being Japanese, and I just never thought about both at the same time. Like, that would be a perfect studio for Sony to just scoop up, or
that's what I'm saying,
reestablish, or whatever.
Yeah, Sony, just grab them, dude. I mean, and honestly, I think it's a better fit for Sony anyways, if you look back on, some of the quirkier titles with PlayStation Studios and how they don't really have that as much anymore, so I think that would be a big benefit for them, and it gives a little more diversity to their profile of games, right? Yeah, does anyone know who makes actual decisions about which games go forward and which do not at Microsoft? Well, I would imagine it would be like the trifecta of Booty, Bond, and Phil Spencer. As far as the stuff that they greenlight.
Booty's not part of the Trinity. It's Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer, and who is the other? The third one is the other guy that just got promoted with Sarah Bond to help take on Phil Spencer's workload.
Oh, I thought that was Matt Booty.
Was it? I thought it was somebody else.
I thought so. Look it up. Google
Matt Ass.
The actual devil. Now, I don't think that day-to-day decisions are being brought to Phil Spencer, though, Construct. if you're going to be like, we were talking about earlier how Vicarious Visions wanted to do Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4 HD, like remake, and they went to Activision with that idea, and Activision shot it down. So, like, that's the way, like, the corporate structure is, you know? So I don't really think, like, it's not day to day, but, like, you know, I would assume every once in a while they're having meetings with, like, the heads of all of the companies that they own now. I just think not to the extreme of, like, Embracer Group, but yeah, I think Microsoft making this acquisition was a bad idea. And rather than purchasing a bunch of companies to buy their games, I think that they would have been better off betting on themselves and developing their own talent from within, man.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was Matt Ass.
Ha! The booty man. Told you. So, yeah, man, I just, it sucks. It really fucking sucks. Because think about all the guys at Tango Gameworks. We kind of talked about this before we touched on it. So, you had your game come out on Xbox Game Pass with very little fanfare. It was shadow dropped. Everyone loves it. You get awards for it. You're feeling great. It's a year later. You get told it's coming out on PlayStation. Then you see on PlayStation, it's in like their top 10, top 20 sales games. It's like, wow, this Xbox game that I did is one of the best-selling games on PlayStation. Congratulations, Tango Gameworks. You ended the console war. And then you get told, get to steppin'. We're shutting down your fucking studio. Oh, I'm sorry, Shinsuke. You just had a kid? Well, you don't have insurance anymore. But we'll give you this little severance package before we fucking send you packing. Thanks for all your hard work, pal. Fuck that.